But okay, not kid friendly, but we used to come from gangs. You know, a lot of us when we were kids, when we grew up in that world of gang. You know, I'm so happy that it's not around anymore the way it used to be, for everyone's benefit. But we grew up that way, and when we were young, when we were in a gang, you wanted to be famous. You know, you wanted your name to be known all around the hood. So you would do stupid things to kind of get known, you know, like, or be the one that, you know, gets into a fight, or, you know, just, oh, he's crazy, don't mess with him, right? So similar to like that energy, it just transcended into breaking. Like, I wanted to have that same name that I had in the streets as known as, oh, the don't mess with him. It was the same thing in the cipher or in the thing. Like, I was ready to bang. Like, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I am. I'm like, that's why I serve so many people. You know what I mean? Because I was like, what's up? Like, this is like, we're gonna find out. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of like banging. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like a positive way. It turned into a positive.
Isn't that so beautiful?
It used to be.
Right?
It used to be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, it just used to be that way, you know. And so me, when I represent Style Elements, I'm representing all the people I love. You know what I mean? So when I will say Style Elements, I'm like, yo, I got their back, they got my back.
Yeah, I love that. Yep.
And right now, I didn't even need my crew behind me. I was already just representing hard.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I didn't, yeah.
I love that. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's like, what does that look like for you when you're up there representing?
I'll go
the
one
crew?
on one. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'll go
yeah.
head up.
Yeah.
I'll go head up.
Mm-hmm.
That's that kind of, see, not everyone has that kind of mentality. Like, that's why it gets intense. And it's like, yeah, and you know, you can actually take somebody's ability to dance from them with that kind of energy, where they could be good, but they ain't good against you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's that kind of energy that could be projected to you know what I mean, the cipher, or when you're representing. So when I represent Style Elements, I'm representing world champions. We're all world champions. We've been world champions maybe 50 times. You know what I mean? We beat everybody. So when I bang like that, I'm banging on like some world champion level. Like, ain't no one taking this belt from me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to put it up too, to be like, try, take it. You know what I mean? This is heavy. Take it. It's a prestige. It's like, you know what? Just saying, Style Elements as a crew, we can't be beat. You know what I mean? Like, just
yes.
in general, there ain't nobody that could beat us. I don't think so.
Yes, I
It
love that
never
because
happened.
I asked that question because I know that for everyone it looks different, you know, and I think it's going to be really cool to see, you know, or it could be very similar too, you know what I mean? So I love that you're able to explain that for you because
That's how passionate I am.
exactly, no, exactly. That is what it is. That's
Yeah.
what, yeah.
It's like, no one could beat me and my crew. You know what I mean? That's it. It's like, no one. I don't care who it is. It could be Santa Claus. It doesn't matter. Can't beat us.
That's right.
I guess for me, what was it? How do you?
When you're representing your crew,
How does it look like?
what is that? What are you representing? What does that look like for you? Because
I just like Remind say it's true too. You represent your everything, like everything, right? But I mean, like I think for me right now, like winning and representing was really key, just to get you somewhere. And I think that's still powerful, but I think at the same time, it's still just in a crew, if anything, in a crew, it takes it takes a village to build stuff, right? So I think for me, when I represent my crew, I try my best to just make sure one is, of course, I'm gonna come with my A game, but at the same time, if it's a one-on-one, I'm always gonna do it with care, right? Making sure that one is my crew, everyone's gonna be okay, right? Like we do a crew battle. First of all, I want to make sure everyone's okay, confident, strong. But that's how I look like representing my crew. Just make sure really everyone is push to their best limit
Yes.
to represent who they are. Because when they represent themselves, where I represent myself, I represent everyone, right? And like earlier when I mentioned how our crew said, you know, like if you win, we win, right? If we win, you win, right? And so that's something I think my crew we care a lot to represent each other, and I think that represent just our image and so on. But I think for sure, we do everything with. I don't want to say we do everything with a lot of love, you know what I mean? And that comes with really checking on each other outside of the dance, right? Because if you're not good outside, you can't perform well. So I think that's something that we do our best to is to if we represent each other, we also make sure we represent each other in a loving way where we make sure everyone's okay. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But I think that's something how I represent. But how do you represent?
Let's go. I love that. I love that. Thanks.
Well, when I represent on the ground floor, here I represent my family, brothers, sisters. Every time I go out, I carry them in the bag. And I know every time they go out, they carry each one of us in the bag. So every time you see us dance, you see passion, you see struggles, you see pressure, you see everything, happiness. But we always show it like in the dance floors in a move. So every time I put that shirt to say on the dance floor, it's happening. So,
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I agree. The thug girl in me definitely used to think this way for sure. Everything about Arista said right now, like coming up, but in the midst of chaos in life, I became a survivalist. So for me, when I, represent for my crew, I'm the girl that survived what she wasn't supposed to survive. That's who I represent for my ladies, to my moms, to the women that are a part of this culture, the women that haven't got the placeholder, the set holder that they deserve. So I represent that on my armor, hardcore for the women of this culture. So that's for me, it's just straight survival for my women and make it a place for them. So yeah.
For me, I think battling and representing your crew is one of the most amazing feelings you can feel because you're not just doing it for yourself. You know, you stand for something more than just yourself. It's like your whole crew, right? Your family, like you said. And I think as a B girl, it's not just your crew. We're also representing women. That women can do this. You can do it too. You know, I always see all the little B girls around, and like I'm always like, oh, if you stay in this culture long enough, you're gonna experience such amazing things. And like I love crew battles, and I feel like it's something everyone should experience. So, just going off on all they said, family, represent family. Wait, why is there 3 mics? Representing.
oh,
I'm still learning about what it means to rep. I think, because I know I'm still young, like as a human, and in dance and breaking. So I think like I've had moments where I'm like, damn, like, I'm repping this because this is my family, or I'm repping this because everyone's going hard, or I'm repping this because I truly align with what this crew represents. And so I think it's like I'm still learning what that means for myself. I've definitely had moments where I'm like, I think it's more normal now to like kind of have those, what's it called, like those teams, like those, where it's like not, yeah. But then no, there's also like, people kind of know each other and it's like, yo, you want to battle these? Yeah, like it's just, so I've definitely experienced like those battles of like, all right, like whether it's like solo or crew, it's with all like nothing else matters but like
prove a point. Like everyone in that room needs to remember our crew or our dancing or our names. And so there's like that side of it, but also like sometimes I just wanna dance or battle or rep with my crew to celebrate life or honor something like greater or deeper or yeah, something different than the competitive aspect. But I honestly respect both ways of like that rep, you know?
Love that. The reason, I asked that just because I think it'll be cool to hear and understand, what that looks like for everyone. For some people who may not have a crew yet, for others who are in a crew, and how that looks like for other people. And then moving forward, here's the thing. I mean, I know I'm kind of moderating this, but for me, when I represent my crew, I realize that I realize how much more powerful I am when I represent a crew. Because if it's just about myself, my limitation is just me, right? But if I'm out there representing my crew, it's like the energy, all their energy, just like I feel it's almost like what you're saying, Voltron, Transformer. I can feel like all their energy is on me. Like I'm even stronger than if I didn't have a crew. So I think coming back during those days even for Underground Flow when we were coming up, it was like that. That's how. And for me to give like an analogy of what that feels like is if you're doing a tiebreaker, right? And when you're doing a tiebreaker, you're out there representing your crew. Let's say it's a crew, right? Yeah, it's like that's really kind of what it feels like. If there's something, an example, a situation to put you in. It's kind of like a fight, right? Obviously, that's what breaking is, but in the most safest way. But when you're battling, you're competing. For me, when I represent my crew, they make me stronger. And if I could give the most easiest answer, it would be that. Yeah. Cool. So moving on, I want to talk about still on longevity as well. We have a lot of different generations on this panel, and real quick, I want to hear anyone can answer this. The importance of older b-boys and older b-girls still capable of like competing actively. What do you feel the importance of still having older dancers like b-boys and b-girls start competing in the scene?
I think being older and still competing, even though it's not every jam, right? We pick and choose because we're wiser now, right? We're not just going off the hype. I think it's also setting an example for the younger ones. Like, dang, you're how old and you're still moving like that? You must be doing something right, And I'm sure we all get this. You look so young. How old are you? And I'm like, it's my dancing spirit. I feel like this dance form keeps us young, not just in the body but mind and spirit. And I feel like, that's answer.
I think it's just important to have. I think hip hop in general, or just the culture itself, is a melting pot of different people in different ages. So having your older generation competing with you stuff, it brings more motivation. It gives you hope. It gives you, it brings you back to some good memories too, right? So I think it's always important to have your elders or your older generation or even yourself. As for me right now, as my age right now, sometimes I can't do my moves that I used to do, right? And it's okay because for me, I'm still creating. You know what I mean? So explore. I would say for me, it's always great to have older generation because they still make you grow, right? So I think that's key. Yeah.
Okay. For me, because I've been doing it for 40 years. Wow. Yeah, I started in 86. So my advice is just always have fun. Just don't prove to nobody. Just prove for yourself that you still can do. Do you. Like the more important too is like every time you dance, kids are watching, and you inspiring people too. So like just I don't know, just have fun and eat your baby, but not now, not now because babies are bad, but don't be like me. I don't eat babies.
Um, the love for movement, dance, music, it, you love it so much that it makes you refine yourself. It makes you, eat better. It makes you take care of yourself. It makes you stretch because you want to be your best self. You want to keep pushing forward, and there's so much to learn. And it's not necessarily do these moves have to be big. They also could be, nano, and also little expressions. So dance could go on for as long as you're alive. I believe, and I wanna rock forever. So I've invested in the time into knowing my body, knowing certain type of nutrition, so that I'm able to continue to dance to this age. Because I've been dancing too since 1984. And so over 40 years also, and I still am excited about it. I'm still learning something every day. I'm still learning new feelings, and I'm catching new vibes, and exploring myself. And it's a great thing because it actually forces you to study yourself. Actually forces you to go in spiritually too. So when you love the music, the dance, the arts, you want to take care of the instrument that's allowing you to make it, to draw, to be able to dance and listen to music. And I think my dancing is a byproduct of how much I love music. And I don't only like one kind of music. I love good music. Any music that's good. So I want to continue to discover new music that I haven't heard yet, and dance to those feelings, and even to rediscover some that were in the past. So I think that's what your love for something will create longevity. Your true love.
Okay, I love that. I have this question for baby girl. What does so it's like the opposite of that question. How important is it for, let's say, a B girl or B boy or people who are in the community who are no longer dancing, and how they can contribute, or why is it important for them to still show up even if they're not partaking, they're not an active dancer anymore?
Ooh. Oh my God. There's so many ways. I have said this to so many generations and to the new generation, and you're not just one thing. God created you as a creative. There's so many things that can be so impactful to your life, and that's why I tell people always continue to be inspired by the anything. It could be the mural on the wall, or the person sitting next to you, or the dance, the music, the flowetry of how hip hop culture works and how it came and where it came from, and the importance of having the fabric of the legacy of people and the history to be able to know that part of Big Girl City is that we have our lineage there from the eras. We never not have someone that is an original, or someone that is maybe from our era, whether it's early 90s or whatnot. Then we have the mid-era 2000s, and of course our younger ones. So to be able to kind of look out into different events and to see all of these eras in the room, and whether they're a part of like a discussion panel like so, or speaking engagement, whatever the case may be, there's some sort of way, some sort of importance that is very vital to the ecosystem of how events are being produced, whether they're small, big, it doesn't matter, just to be able to know that, it's all important at the end of the day. And I think the next generation always, that's the one thing we always will continue to preach, is to learn those that were there before you and that paved the way. That's so vital and so important to how you make up your mind on who you're going to be individually and how they can impact your life, and vice versa. I only do what I do because of the next generation and because of me being in conversations with people like Jess Scales or Asia or Honey or Rock or any of these ladies that were before me. So that's I feel like there's definitely importance. It has to be there. It needs to be there. And people just need to continue to lock in that way. There's no way around it. I don't feel like this is the full circle of what hip hop culture is the beginning and the now. That's the evolution of this.
Thank you. This is for Logan. So as a active high level B girl, for you, like when you go against, let's say you're competing or you're ciphering, you see like your elders or OGs at events or in the cipher, or maybe you're competing against someone who's like way older than you, and like what is that like? Do you think that's important, or how does that make you feel?
I think it makes me feel really, I think at peace because, like, I've seen my mom like loves like house dance, and like I've seen her active and I've seen her sick as well. So I think being around like family with chronic illness and being able to see elders active, passionate, authentic in their movement, and like soul driven, it makes me really happy, and it gives me as a young person just the right what's the word, like influence, or it allows me to see what I want for my future. So I think yeah, and then it's also I learned a lot from watching like any dancer like in the cypher battle. So I think yeah, but I mean I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's different for others my age because some of my friends will clown on the OGs, you know, like some of my friends will, but no, yeah, I mean I guess it's like common for certain like I guess younger people to have a certain ego, but I think overall it's part of like pushing each other too, and
Yeah, I asked because I feel like hip hop and breaking in general is still very young. So I feel like we like the longevity of breaking and the breaking spirit. I feel like we're seeing it right now. You get what I mean? It's not like we've already had how many generations before us. I feel like it's still young enough for us to still see like, oh, I think what Rockstar still here, I could do that. You know, it's like as an example is that I feel like breaking is still young enough. We're the one who's going to be setting and sort of we're the one who's going to show what longevity looks like in the scene because it's still young. At least for me, I still think it's still very young. Yeah, you know, and longevity again. Reason why I asked this question is because it doesn't come from longevity. Doesn't mean you have to keep dancing, keep moving. You just have to keep moving. You get what I mean? Not physically, but you just got to keep moving. And I think it's very important to understand how the different ways you can move. You get what I mean? And I love all of you guys' answers to that. Val, would you like to put any 2 cents in that before I move on? No? Cool. Oh, yeah, go.
I would say like there's two like yeah, I've always been like I love top rock. That's my thing. Like I love like the music moves me, but even now like getting more into Rocky is what's been my love like this last couple years, you know, and it still gives me that gangster mentality because to me Rocky is so hard right now, and so that's the one thing that allows me to still feel that. And it's the one thing I don't gotta go down and do footwork on. I have 2 torn meniscus on both my knees. Yeah, a lot going on down here. You know, you gotta take care of your bodies, and I think it's beautiful that we're able to break down a lot of things now in a classroom give you that longevity on movement and mobility in your body where we just threw ourselves on the floor and, just slammed our knee. And I don't know how many times both of my thumbs turned backwards on me or my arm socket fell out of the shoulder. Like, I mean, it's crazy, but, there is, yes, it's breaking, absolutely. Oh, I broke a few things. So, but yeah, I think that there's other dance styles within it, and that was even throughout the years too. Picking up popping was a part of one of my loves, and starting off in house, so all those dance styles were incorporated in a lot of my styles. So that's something at the end of the day, you can still be involved in dance and still learn other dance styles, no matter with an injury of a certain part of you. So.
Thank you. I love that. And then now you have some.
Oh, I do now. Just thinking about it. I feel like it's not just about staying inspired, because I know breaking's like this. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to do anything with breaking. If you've been in the culture long enough, you know that sometimes you're like, I don't want to see breaking right now. I don't want to listen to any break beats. But I feel like it's about re-inspiring yourself throughout the journey. I feel like finding different things that inspire you. So maybe it might not be battling. Maybe it's throwing an event, creating a mentorship program. It's about, teaching workshops, putting yourself out there in different ways that you didn't before. Because I feel like some B-boys and B-girls think, well, I don't battle anymore, so I guess I'm not going to be part of the scene, and they just disappear. I feel like I've seen so many people come and go, and I'm like, where'd they go? They're so dope, So I feel like if more people know that there's so many ways to help, elevate the culture, then it'll continue. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Learning new skill. If your weakness was footwork, then get dope at it, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're older, like, okay, I'm gonna go to top box now.
Yeah, and then, one thing I've realized this year too, like just going to more events and going back off what Remind said in the beginning with Cruise, it was like I went back all the events I went to this year. I had this at every event it was like we built this, I helped build this. So it's one of those things where I think reason why I asked this question too is for some people they think for them being active might be having to always compete or go or hit the cipher or battle, or be active moving in that way, right? But like as I'm going to these events, I'm like, so many people helped build this. Where are they? Some people in that city should be showing up, but like they're not here. It's like they helped build this too. Like it should be something we should all, at least some point. I don't want people to think that because you're not breaking or you're not competing or anything, you're no longer active, you can't go and participate. I think that's why it's just a conversation to have and to kind of learn and still grow together as dancers and as a community and as a crew. I think it's very important so that we could continue to evolve and grow together, right? It's gonna always continue to grow, and I think it's certain conversations I hope that we could continue to have so that we could grow and evolve together. Yeah, and I will share one real quick story. I went up to this one event this year, and I competed. I'm 39, right? So I competed, and I went up against these dudes, and then afterwards the guy was like, yo, Villain, man, you're like one of my, I used to watch you back in the day, you're like inspiration, man. I have a lot of inspirations, and you're one of them. And I was like, yo, thank you. And he was like, how old are you? I'm 39. I was like, shouldn't people like you retired already? And I was like, I'm not those people, I'm a people. That was my answer to that. So the thing for me is that, like, yes, retirement, yes, that's, you can always stop. Stopping, retirement is easy, but like Remind said,